What's up, everybody? It is Heath with the Vacation Voyagers, and I am still at home, but not for long. I'm going to be on a cruise ship next week. Looking forward to it. We're fixing to head out on the Carnival Mardi Gras. Fixing to go to Puerto Rico, Grand Turks, and Amber Cove. Looking forward to that. And as I'm preparing myself for my cruise, getting all my camera gear and all my filming and stuff and blah, 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 blah ready. One thing I did want to talk about with you guys that I haven't talked enough about is casinos on cruise ships. I wanted to share some information with you about casinos on cruise ships, what they're all about, if they're regulated or not, and all that good stuff. So let's get started right now. Okay, so the first thing I want to talk about is, are these casinos on cruise ships being regulated, and by whom if they are? So what research I have done, according to online stuff that I have read, there is a company called International Council of Cruise Lines, and supposedly they are the ones who are supposed to be regulating the cruise ships as far as payouts are concerned on slot machines and regulating the casinos in general. So far, I have found nothing that states that they are abiding by any rules as far as payout percentage back to the player, especially on Royal Caribbean ships. Now, I'm only talking Royal Caribbean and Carnival because that's the only two ships I've been on, so that's the only two ships I'm going to talk about. So when I looked up the Carnival Cruise Corporation, or whatever they're called, their whole umbrella company, they are regulated by the Nevada Gaming Commission. If they are, that's a good thing, because that means that they have to pay out a certain percentage back to the players, which is you guys that are on the slot machines. So you want to hear that. You want to know that these casinos are paying back their customers, because if they are, then that means people are winning money on their cruise ship. When I looked up Royal Caribbean, I couldn't find anything as far as who regulates them. Does anybody regulate them? When you look it up online, they always read the same. The rules and regulations are iffy, because once they get out on international waters, their rules go out the window, because technically these cruise ships are not from the United States. They're not land-based. So technically, they do not have to go by the rules. Now, if Carnival signed a contract with the Nevada Gaming Commission that states that they have to go by the rules, that's a totally different story. However, Royal Caribbean doesn't have one of those contracts, at least none that I can find online. And if you ever notice with these cruise ships, if you ever see the back of them where it says Symphony of the Seas or Freedom of the Seas, talking about Royal Caribbean, you'll never see a ship from Miami, Florida. You'll never see a ship from the United States. There's a reason, because they don't have to go by the United States rules, and they don't want to go by the United States rules, so they always put their ships at Nassau, Bahamas, or wherever. Some other country, never the United States. And that's probably one of the main reasons, because they do it that way. They do not have to go by the rules and regulations of the United States, which includes gaming. To me, it makes sense, because every time I've been on a Royal Caribbean ship, I have done horrible in their casinos as far as slot machines are concerned. And when I've been on Carnival cruise ships, I've done much better. So it kind of falls in line with what I've read online as far as Carnival cruise ships being regulated, and Royal Caribbean is more iffy. They don't really know if they're regulated or not. You can't really get a definitive answer when you research it. I guess my first advice to give you, if you can do without playing slot machines when you're on a cruise ship, but you do enjoy going to the casinos, play their table games, play blackjack, roulette. They can't cheat those games as far as odds are. I did go on a Carnival Freedom ship back in May and did absolutely horrible in their casino. I didn't hit it for anything on a 4-day cruise that I was on there. It's the first time I'd ever been on a Carnival cruise ship where I'd never hit anything on that cruise ship. I felt like I was on a Royal Caribbean ship on the Carnival Freedom. And it really upset me, because not only was it not paying me, I didn't see anybody winning on the 4 days that I was on that cruise. And plus, the people that were running the casino were pretty rude people. They were awful. And I have a ship review of the Carnival Freedom where I talk extensively about how bad that casino was. It was the worst casino I'd ever been in. But I guess it upset me more because I'm used to going on Carnival ships and having more success and a lot more fun than I did on that Carnival Freedom. So as far as rules and regulations go, that's the best I can find. Obviously, you gamble at your own risk. Obviously, there are people that do win in casinos on cruise ships, but nowhere near as often as you would see on land-based because they don't have competition. People do not buy cruises to go on a 7-day cruise because of the casino. They do it because of everything else, the entertainment, the pools, the activities, the ports, that kind of stuff. The casino is a bonus, and cruise ships know that. They're very aware that you can't jump from one casino to another like you can on land. Okay, another thing I wanted to talk about is the slot machines themselves, because people have wondered if slot machines are rigged. And the answer to that is no. You cannot rig a slot machine. You cannot rig it to pay somebody specific that sits on that machine. You cannot rig it to not pay a person that sits on that machine. I used to wonder about that when I played on slot machines. I used to look up at those cameras and I used to wonder if those people are looking at me, if I'm getting mad, do you think that maybe they'll hit a button that'll pay me off? No. Casino slot machines cannot do that. Every casino slot machine that you play has an individual chip in each slot machine, and they are programmed to pay a certain percentage on their machine or on that machine. So if you go up to a Wheel of Fortune machine, that Wheel of Fortune machine has one chip in that slot machine that is programmed to pay out a certain percentage on just that machine. And it could be 80%, it could be 90%. This is where we get back into regulations as far as slot machines are concerned. If they're regulated to pay back at least 80 to 90%, that's what that chip is programmed to do. It's programmed to pay back 80 to 90% or whatever the percent they set it at. Now, if they're not regulated, this is where you get into the question of, do these cruise ship companies set their chips in their slot machines at an extremely lower number, say 40% to 30%, hell, say to 10%? Do they do that? If they're not regulated, then you cannot know that for sure. That's where you really want to know if these cruise lines are regulated by companies, and if they are, by whom, and do they get checked on like land-based casinos do, i.e. Nevada, whatever casinos that you find yourself on, even riverboat casinos. Every slot machine has one chip in it, and it is programmed to pay out an X amount or a percentage on that said machine. Now, even though each machine has one brain, that's not always the case, because there are machines that have different denominations. So each denomination has its own chip. Each slot machine has one brain unless it's multiple denominations. So if you have 1 cent, 2 cent, 5 cent, 10 cent, that slot machine has 4 computer chips, one for each denomination. And each one of those are keeping track of how much is being put in the machine versus how much is being paid out by that denomination. So that's the only exception to the rule of each slot machine has its own brain. If it's multi-denomination, then however many denominations it has that many chips in it. Man, I hope that makes sense. Another thing that people have problems with when it comes to slot machines is players' cards. When they put them in, most people think every time you put a player's card in, it is keeping track of how much you're winning or losing in that casino. The slot machine has no idea what you're winning or losing when it comes to the player's card. The only thing that the slot machine knows is how much it is paying out on that machine and that machine alone. Those slot machines have no idea what you won on any other slot machine. They don't care. All they care about is if they're paying out whatever percentage they're programmed to pay. The player's card has a separate chip that keeps up with your points that goes to the casino, so the casino can keep track of how much you are gambling, therefore you get your points. They cannot control what the slot machine does or doesn't do when it comes to you playing, because you have your player's card in there. So in other words, if you put, say you won $1,000 on a Wheel of Fortune machine, you pull your card out, you stick it over here in this other machine, it's a Monopoly machine or whatever, and you start hitting and playing it, and all of a sudden you're losing, that card has nothing to do with you losing that money. The casino does not tell the slot machine, hey, it just won $1,000 over there, so you can't pay them over here. Has nothing to do with it. That slot machine has no idea that you won $100 on another, or $1,000, or whatever amount you won over there on that slot machine. It's a different brain, a different system. The only thing that the slot machine cares about is what it's paying back to compared to what it's getting in. Bottom line is, players cards have nothing to do with whether you win or lose on a slot machine. Those computer chips on slot machines does not keep track of what you're winning or losing on any other machine except for the one that it's programmed to run. It doesn't matter if you got your card in or not. You're going to get paid the exact same amount you would have if you had it in or didn't have it. What benefits you on players cards is always the same. You get perks, you get free cruises, you get free drinks, you get free stuff when you gamble. That helps the casino keep track of who's gambling, how much they're gambling, how much money they're putting into their casino, and that's how you get your offers back. I play in a lot of casinos every time, especially Carnival, because they do a great job as far as giving you cruise offers and stuff like that. If I gamble $500, $600, $700 on a cruise and I play a lot of points and I get a lot of points, I'm going to get some cruise offers a couple weeks later on down in the mail about a free cruise, a free interior room, or whatever. If you don't play the card, you will never get those casino offers because they have no idea that you're playing in the casino because you're never putting your card in. And just a reminder, first of all, thank you guys so much for watching my videos. I appreciate everyone who does watch my videos. It means a lot to me. But I do want to remind you guys to hit the subscribe button. I have been slacking in the past couple months. I haven't been on any cruises, but man, we are pumping some cruises up in the next 3 or 4 months. We've got one coming up next week. We got one coming up in October, in December, in January. So our cruises are starting to build back up again. So hit that subscribe button, hit the notification button. Every time I put out a new video, you guys will be the first to know. And also hit the like button, share button. If you have any comments, any questions, leave them below. I love to hear from everybody. Doesn't matter what you want to ask. Don't care. I'll answer it. But thank you guys who have subscribed, and I hope you will. If you haven't, everything's appreciated. And I appreciate you, especially for watching. So anyway, let's get back to it. Now, another cool tidbit that I found out about slot machines that I didn't know about is when you're playing slot machines are programmed. You get, I think it was an 8% better chance of hitting a jackpot if your volume is all the way up. By hitting the volume all the way up, it makes the machines louder, and when they do pay off, the ding ding dings go louder. People hear the ding ding dings and make them want to come in. So they actually increase the percentage of you being able to get paid off or hit a jackpot on those machines by 8% if you turn those machines on full blast. Even, and I wondered about this too, because you ever been to a slot machine and you've hit the volume, sometimes the volume doesn't work at all. But I found out that doesn't matter. If the speaker's broken, as long as you turn it all the way up, it gives you that percentage once that volume is at its maximum. Does that compute to cruise ships? Because cruise ships are different than land-based casinos. Technically, they don't have to be regulated like land-based casinos are, which I think is crap. I think that casinos need to be regulated no matter where they're at. I don't think that Royal Caribbean or any cruise ship has the right to be able to pay a 5% payout or whatever. Let's face it, cruise ships make their money on two things: booze, casinos. That's their revenue when people are on the ships. If they're not selling liquor and people aren't gambling, they're not making money on those cruise ships because everything else is free. People have already paid their gratuities. They've already paid for their cruise. So the only way they can make money after that is by getting people to drink and by getting people to gamble. Okay, so another question people have as far as slot machines are concerned is, do slot machines pay off better if you're betting more money? And the quick answer is no. If you're betting minimum on the slot machine, say you're playing a penny slot machine, there's no multiple denominations. We're not talking about that. We're talking about you playing the minimum bet versus the maximum bet. If you ever bet on a slot machine, say you're playing a penny slot, and it says 50 cents, $1, $1.50, $2.50, $5. People wonder, if you're betting 50 cents a pull and you move to $5, is that going to change the way it pays you as far as when it pays off? And the easy answer is no, it doesn't. It has nothing to do with that. it would pay you the exact same line if you were betting 50 cents versus $5. Obviously, the difference is the more money you're betting, the more payback you get because you're gambling more per spin. Those machines are set up to pay on specific lines at specific times. Doesn't matter if you're betting 50 cents, $2.50, $5, it has nothing to do with it. One thing that is kind of cool about these machines, if you want to call it that, is these machines are set up on timers. Those computer chips are programmed to pay off at specific times during slot pulls or during the time that people are gambling on it. So you will never know it. The slot machine's constantly thinking. It's constantly saying, all right, I got to pay off eventually. I'm going to pay off at this specific time. Well, if you hit that button at that specific time, it will pay off. Now, obviously, you would never know when that specific time is because computer's doing it on its own. You have no idea. But they are programmed to pay off like that. Same thing with bonuses. They're set up to pay bonuses at specific times. People ask if there's such thing as hot machines. No, there's not really a such thing as a hot machine. I've heard people talk about as soon as you hit a jackpot, get up and walk away because it's not going to pay for another 2 or 3 hours. I've seen people get on slot machines and I've seen them hit for $1,000, play another 3 spins and hit it for 900 more. 10 spins later, they hit it for another $4,000. That happens. Not often, but sometimes it does happen where machines do pay off multiple times. There are times where people will hit multiple jackpots on a back-to-back spin. Obviously, it's extremely rare. But when people say, oh, once you hit a bonus or once you hit a jackpot, you got to get up and walk away because it won't happen again for a while. That's not necessarily true. Odds are it will not happen in a while, but you never know. I've been on machines where I've hit a bonus and got a couple $100. One spin later, I get another bonus and hit it for another $200. That's just the nature of those machines. Again, they're timed to pay off at specific times and specific amounts so it can keep up with its algorithm of what percentage it's paying back versus what it's getting in. What you need to find out is what are they regulated to pay out. Okay, and finally, if you're a gambler like me and you love to go cruising and you love to go gambling, know your casino when you go in there. Talk to the casino host, ask them what's going on as far as games are concerned. They have slot tournaments, they have blackjack tournaments. Kind of get a feel of how the people are in the casino. I wish I'd have done that when I was on the Carnival Freedom. I did not. I walked straight in like I normally do and just started gambling. Once they open up, or even before they open up, a lot of times casinos will give you lessons on how to play blackjack, how to play slot machines, how to play roulette, craps. They will have these little seminars or little training sessions where you can learn how to play games before they open up. If you don't know how to gamble and you want to gamble, go do that, because especially when it comes to craps and blackjack, they will teach you a lot about those games and how to play them. Usually casino people are really nice, the dealers and stuff like that, because they know they're working on tips. They want you guys to come in, they want to see people gambling, they want people tipping, that kind of stuff. So ask them about their point system, ask them about what kind of offers that they give, what kind of deals do they give. I've gotten so much more free stuff from Carnival than I have Royal, that's what keeps me on Carnival ships. They keep sending me free cruises, whether it's an interior room, whether it's a balcony room. We just booked the brand new Carnival celebration that's gonna, I think it starts out in October or something. We booked a free cruise, free balcony for the Carnival celebration in January. Obviously, when I say free, we get a free room, but we have to pay for gratuities, taxes, and port fees. So it's not technically free, but compared to what you would pay if you just paid out of your pocket, super cheap trip. I do get some free cruise offers from Royal, but not as often, not as nice as far as their cruise offers are concerned. I've never gotten anything higher than an interior room. I do know that people who are high rollers and gamble a lot more than I do have gotten better offers through Royal, but you have got to gamble a lot of money to be able to get balcony rooms and stuff like that on the Royal. Take advantage of all those benefits and stuff while you're in the casino, because again, you put your card in, all it's doing is keeping up with everything you're gambling. It just accumulates your points. The more points you put on your card, the better chance you have of getting good offers as far as free cruises and stuff like that for your next time that you want to go on a cruise. I love to gamble. If you like to gamble, if you like to go to these casinos, hit me up. If I ever see you on a cruise ship, we'll do one of those slot pools. Get out there and have some fun because I like to gamble. I can't get off those slot machines though. I need to go back to table games. I used to play nothing but table games, but in my older age, started veering towards those slot machines, and I really like hitting that button, hearing the ding, ding, ding. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope this was informative, if anything. And if you have any questions or comments or complaints, leave them below. I will answer them as I always do. Thank you guys so much for watching. I will see you on my next voyage. Peace and love. Bye. Bye. Go.